So now you've got your topics created. So now we can actually create some reports. So before I do the reports, I'm going to go ahead and create a folder real quick. This will be my patch policy compliance reports. And now that I've got that, I can go in here and I can create an ad hoc view. And because we put those in the topics folder, you can see I've got the two new topics. I've got this patch policy compliance and patch policy compliance details. We're going to start with the high level, and then we'll do it some more in other videos. So we'll do patch policy compliance. I'll come in here, and in the instructions, you'll notice that it says we need to add some custom fields and measures. So first thing it comes up with is this input controls. I'm going to fill it with all percent signs. This basically says don't filter anything, give me all the data. But this allows you to filter out based on device name, a full device name, which would be the path, and then also the patch policy name itself. So we'll say OK, and then we can start defining our custom fields. So first thing I'm going to do is create this calculated measure. I want to be able to say how compliant are you? So I'm going to call this compliance percentage, percent. Compliance. And for compliance percentage, we're going to take the number of patches applied and divide that by the total patches, and then multiply by 100 to get the percent. So now we have compliance percent. And then also for when I'm doing graphing and such, I want to be able to say compliant or not compliant. So I'm going to create a calculated field here called compliance status. And we're going to use the if formula and say if the compliance percent is 100, then you're compliant. And if not, then you're not compliant. So if you're 100% compliant, you're in there. Now, if your policy was something different and you needed to have 100% compliance of critical patches, you might have a different formula. But for mine, it's just you have to have everything the policy says you have to have, or what's the point of a policy. So I'll create that field. And now we're going to do a really simple chart. We're going to go ahead and pull in the patch policy name. And we're going to pull in the compliance status. And then what we want to do is count the devices so that we know they're compliant or not. So I'm going to take this device ZUID and I'm going to say use it as a measure, which means now it's something I can do mathematical operations on. Then I'm going to go ahead and say, now let's add that to the rows. Now that I have something to count, you can see it shows up. You see I have 9 devices that have patch data that are assigned to these policies. If I drill in then, we can scroll in and say, okay, I've got some compliant, not compliant. I'm going to actually change my chart type to pies. And now you'll see I've got the graph that I want. I get one graph for each of my policies. So I have one for Java updates and one for MS patches. You can see I have 3 compliant devices here and 5 that are non-compliant. So we'll go ahead and give this a name, compliance status overview. And now we have our compliance graph. So we'll go ahead and save that to that folder that we created before. So then Guru reports, patch policy compliance, and this is our compliance status overview. And a chart that shows the compliance to ZPM patch policies. We'll save that and we'll come back for the next one.